Hi, I am Ida Bashkir Martin. I'll talk about why do we procrastinate and how to overcome procrastination. Although I will emphasize the procrastination in college, but you can apply the same technique to other life matters such as losing weight, finishing a book, etc. Now, if you would like to follow me for more, please click the subscribe button below. And yes, do not procrastinate. Instead, do it now. The dictionary description of procrastination is the act of delaying or postponing something. Or you can go a little further and describe as it is the action of ruining your life for no apparent reason at all. You may say this is a little harsh to describe and even argue that procrastinating might be useful sometimes, perhaps subconsciously you are getting ready to complete a task, but this is not the case most of the time to be successful in college. One thing for sure that you can say it is an anxiety and fear driven strong impulse to put things off for later. It is a kind of coping mechanism to handle the emotional discomfort that triggered by the impending task. What is going on in our brain that causes us to avoid the things we know we should be doing? First, don't procrastinate on this video. Finishing this video and watching to the end and putting it into action will help you immediately. When you search, you may find over 90 different words to describe the opposite or antonym of the procrastination. But what I like more are the finish, proceed, and advance. Then why we choose to postpone instead of go ahead and finish the task in hand. What causes the procrastination? It varies for many. Everybody has a different reason for doing so. One of the most common causes of procrastination is a deep rooted fear of failure. The fear of making mistakes is a real thing, and it can cause people to put off some of their important obligations for another day. We need to accept that the failure is inevitable. It is also a prelude to many successes. If we stick with this meaning, what is there to fear? Unfortunately, if we can't deal with the fear and anxiety of even starting to a task in hand, then failure is often embellished and becomes synonymous with worthless, inept, or incompetent and feeds the low self esteem. Are you a perfectionist? You may think that being a perfectionist is a positive trait. It is actually can be quite detrimental. It is a dangerous mix of anti-productive habits and attitudes that discourage progression, especially if you have a fixed mindset. How about low energy level and exhaustion? Are you an overwhelmed avoider? This is a common cause for those who relatively unhealthy lifestyles. Whether you get insufficient sleep to recharge your batteries or your diet causes you to feel sluggish and tired. Lifestyle factors can play a huge factor, but it is the easiest factor that you can easily eliminate. How inclined you are to take an action at the present time. It might not necessarily related with busy life, social life, but maybe juggling with many roles to fulfill your life, such as full-time work, being a busy parent with lots of responsibilities, and trying to study and be successful in college. Lack of focus. If you do not have any goals set, then it is almost certain that you will be lacking in focus, as you have no target to work towards. Lack of motivation. People often procrastinate because they are not motivated enough to work on a given task. For example, a student might procrastinate when it comes to studying for a test in a subject that isn't relevant to their major because they don't care about getting a good grade on it. Find the meaning, what you are asked to do, and focus what really you want in the long run. Lack of understanding. You might think, I don't even know how to do this, but think the task as challenge to improve yourself, and if you need a skill upgrade, get one. Don't afraid to ask for help if it is available. Distractions, social media obsession, and lastly, poor organizational skills. The longer you wait, the worse it gets. So start now. In procrastination, the desire to feel good now dominates and overshadows the long term goals. It's a vicious cycle, like a hamster wheel. When you start procrastinating, avoidance of tasks may follow with feeling guilty, having low self esteem, fear, helplessness, and prevent you taking an action. What to do? Overcome procrastination then. To me, steps of coping with procrastination can be listed in three categories: understand, act, and reward. The key to find out first what your specific reasons are for doing so, and then address them at the core. Is the work too overwhelming for you? Break a large task into manageable small segments, like shown in this table, and concentrate on one task at a time. Maybe that's the cure for you. Program your brain and visualize the task from start to completion. Find a good reason. Most of the time, when we wait and try to finish it at the very last moment, it is not one of our best work. Visualize small steps that you need to take, what you will gonna do first thing in the morning when everybody else is asleep. You will get up, wash your face, find your comfortable spot, bring your old study material, perhaps a textbook, note, laptop, plan studying one subject. Think how interesting it will be to learn about in details. To avoid confusion and frustration, you should stay actively engaged in your classes. If you are passive in class, you're probably not getting into the course and its topics. That weakens your motivation. Seek out what is interesting and relevant to you in course material, set your own purpose for every reading and class session, and ask yourself questions about what you are learning. And act in present time. Start now. Start completing your assignments first thing in the morning if you can. Do not delay. Eliminate this distraction. In my online classes, I open the assignments at 6 a.m. If anybody is the early riser, they will have a chance to go ahead and complete. Have a to-do list. When you have a to-do list, it can help you organize the things you need to do. In that way, you can also rank what project or assignment needs to be done first, and also help you in monitoring the work you have already finished and things you haven't done yet. I like to scratch the things in my list that I completed, and it kind of gives me feeling of satisfaction and accomplishment. Making a schedule and keeping to that schedule will increase your motivation. But notice, be realistic in your goals. Start small and build up by time. For example, start studying 10 minutes at the beginning instead of 2 hours in a row. And by time, build up these minutes and enjoy what you are doing. Consistently, every day, 30 minutes studying, much better than one day studying 4 hours, and more effective also for regarding to retaining the information you learn. Trust me, anxiety and stress will diminish as you increase your involvement. Have a reasonable regular class schoolwork or study time. It will help you to be accountable, to sit down and finish your work. Limit your distractions. Try to distance yourself from things that can distract you while doing your work or when you're studying. Put your phone away from you and stay in a quiet place where you can stay focused and finish your work. It will make you finish your work faster, and you can also learn your lessons well. Create a relaxing study environment. Get an accountable partner. It can be only someone just to share your little victories, that you can say, hey, this is what I did today. I did what I was supposed to do. Or you may have a productive study partner. Having a study partner can be good or bad at the same time. You should choose a study partner who will encourage you to study and get your work done, and is also focused on what they are doing. In that way, both of you have a goal to accomplish. Choosing a study partner who is a bit chatty will end up in a long, unrelated conversation that will lead you into unfinished work. And remember to reward yourself after accomplishing your tasks. Most importantly, understand that you need to reduce anxiety and fear. Emphasize the satisfaction and rewards of completing tasks work best to make a habit. Now it is the best time always. If you create a habit to deal with procrastination, not only you can enjoy your college years, you can also enjoy your life as well. But now it's up to you to take action and implement all of this into your life, because all we have discussed today is very nice, but if you don't put it on the use, then essentially it's all a waste. So go out there, take action, make things happen. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Subscribe. Bye.